Welcome, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for having me. Chair Nose, members of the committee, my name is Dan Rayfield, State Representative from House District 16, encompasses Corvallis. I want to first, again, thank you for having this conversation. House Bill 2002 represents a big step towards making reproductive health care and gender-affirming care more accessible in Oregon despite a rapidly shifting national landscape. First off, I want to acknowledge the time and effort that went into the work group that guided this process. The patients, the providers, community groups, and legislators involved were essential to crafting an effective bill, and it was really important that we got it right. Time and time again, Oregonians have affirmed their support to making abortion and reproductive health care safe and accessible to all. After the Dobbs Supreme Court decision that overturned 50 years of precedent, other states around the country aggressively moved to ban and criminalize reproductive health care. Thanks to decades of work by advocates and local elected officials, abortion remains legal in Oregon. But there is still work to be done. There are still gaps. The right to access an abortion does not mean that abortion is accessible. As a result, and in the wake of the Dobbs decision, our office convened a work group. We knew that we needed to hear directly from providers, clinics, patients, the people on the ground who are doing this work, who are receiving care. We also brought in clinic administrators and issue experts. The goal was to answer the question, how do we do right by patients and providers across this state? How can we, number one, improve access to care in medically underserved regions of the state? Number two, prevent interference with healthcare clinics and providers. And number three, protect people in Oregon from criminal and civil liability for receiving, supporting, providing expert essential care. We found in our work group that significant barriers to the full spectrum of care still exist in our state for many communities. That includes low-income Oregonians, those living outside the I-5 corridor, women, LGBTQ plus individuals, Black, Indigenous, people of color, immigrants, people with disabilities. We heard about many of the worst fears of the day of the Dobbs decision coming true. For example, in Eastern Oregon, Idaho put in place a law mirroring Senate Bill 8 in Texas, effectively banning abortions. This has had a direct impact on Eastern Oregonians, and that impact reaches patients and providers all over the state because of longer wait times. A common theme was the amount of fear that is out there from both patients and providers. We heard stories from providers about increasing harassment, threats of violence, physical damage to facilities. Everyone who has participated in this process shared different experiences. House Bill 2002 takes all of those stories into account. We are striving to be a state where there isn't just legal access to reproductive health care and gender-affirming care, but it's easy to navigate, it's affordable, and you can get the care you need without fear of repercussions. A fundamental principle guiding this work is that every person's life has its own unique circumstances. And regardless of those circumstances, they should have access to a full range of services. Someone I know and love, someone you know and love, may need an abortion or gender-affirming care someday. People should have the right to make their own decisions on their own health care with medical professions without fear of harm. As Speaker of the House, through this bill and our collective work together in the future, we will protect Oregonians' rights to access the care they need. We will do everything we can to continue to ensure that abortion and the full spectrum of care remains affordable and safe. I'll let the experts and the members of the committee you'll hear today talk more about the policy details, specifically from the DOJ's office. There is questions can be asked about the specifics of the bill, and I think as the chair noted, there are many details that you might want to ask questions about. I am proud of that Oregon leads the nation in protections for reproductive health care, but these protections do not exist if not everyone has access to them. House Bill 2002 will take important steps towards closing that gap. Thank you.